everyone, and welcome back to Tales from the TBR. My name is Dorothy. Today, I have the December TBR. Now, it's not as much of a TBR as me being very, very hopeful. There are a few books on this list that I do need to read. I absolutely have to read all of the arcs that I'm about to talk about because some of them are coming out in December, some of them are coming out early January. And if you don't know, in January I'm attempting a very insane thing. I will be trying to read 31 audiobooks in 31 days, which means I need to read all of my January arcs in December, because once January hits, I will not be able to read anything but those planned out books. Now, additionally, I also have to read anything that would be coming out in February, because I'm not going to be able to read them in January, and also I can't read them in February because in February I'm trying to read 28 romances in 28 days, which is insane. So this is going to be very ambitious, especially when you see how long some of these are. I'm really going for it, but we're just gonna hope for the best. So with that said, the very first book on the TBR is All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. This is on my books to read before the end of the year list because I've owned it and a lot of people have talked about it and recommended it to me. Mariana Zapata is the absolute queen of slow burn romance. This book is over 500 pages, which is insane. However, I know I'm probably going to end up liking this. Additionally, this is also single dad romance, which will be the first time I am embarking on the single dad trope, because normally I don't really like romances that involve children. I feel like it's very messy, and especially because I am a child of divorce, I feel like that might be hindering my ability to enjoy single parent romances. But I am going to give this a big try. So I have already read the first chapter of this, and I do enjoy the writing style. It's just that when I was reading the first chapter, I wasn't exactly in the mood for it at the time. So I'm going to cross my fingers and toes and everything else that I read this month, hopefully. This next book is also on the books that I have to read before the end of the year, and that is Beautiful Nightmares by KJ Sutton. I've been talking about this book literally since March when I got it and I started my journey of reading Fortuna. The fifth book, Endless Terrors, comes out in May, so I do still have some time to read this before then. My ideal is to finish this before the end of the year, just because I don't know how much I'm going to want to read a 700-page book come 2023, especially after the nonsense I'm doing to myself. But I will say I am, I have made progress on this. I don't know exactly how far I am. I read some on my Kindle before I got the audiobook, which I'm gonna try. The audiobook is 31 hours long, so we'll see how that goes. But I believe I'm somewhere in like the first 50 pages. So I have a lot of progress to make on this, but I'm crossing my fingers. If you don't know what the Fortuna Sworn series is about, I'll give you just a very quick synopsis. The very first book follows our main character, Fortuna Sworn, as she is the only living nightmare, which is the species in which she can see people's worst nightmares, and through her powers, she can inflict them on them so that they believe it is happening even though it is not. In the very first book, she ends up meeting our main man, Colith, who comes up to her and says, "I know where your brother is. If you marry me, I can take you to him." And so she ends up marrying Colith, and our journey kind of goes from there. I have loved this series very, very much. I gave the first one 3 stars just because it's the first book. It's a lot shorter than the rest of them. I gave Restless Slumber 4, and I gave Deadly Dreams 5 because Deadly Dreams absolutely wrecked me. I believe with my whole heart that Beautiful Nightmares is a 5-star worthy book, and I'm very, very nervous to be reading it. When I was reading the first bits on my Kindle, Fortuna is already going through it, and it made me very, very nervous. So we will see if I get to this. I'm really hoping I do, because I do love KJ's books. I am actually planning on reading 2 of them in February. So hopefully I can read this and knock it out prior to the end of the year. The next one, it's kind of shocking I am still forcing myself to do this, and it's also shocking that I haven't finished it yet. If you know that this was one of my anticipated releases of the year, and the fact that I A, haven't finished it, and B, am thinking about DNFing it is a huge deal, and that is The War of Two Queens by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the 4th book in the From Blood and Ash series. The series follows Poppy as the maiden and essentially figuring out the world she's in, and a lot has gone down. I'm currently only 102 pages. I've been trying to get through the audiobook, and God, here's the deal. I've been listening to the audiobook. The audiobook is fine. However, I'm shockingly not very interested in what they're saying. So it's really sad for me because From Blood and Ash is one of my favorite series that I read last year. I really, really loved Hawk and Poppy in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd book. But when I started this, I just felt that excitement severely wane. I don't really care about this story that much anymore. And that's really kind of sad because I was super excited for this to come out. And when it finally did, I heard a lot of things saying that this one is not it. But then again, a lot of people also didn't like The Crown of Gilded Bones, whereas I gave it 5 stars and read it right away on release date, but I didn't do that for this. And I'm wondering if I even want to continue the series at this point. So I am giving myself 150 pages to determine whether or not I even want to continue this book. If I do DNF it, it's going to be a huge shock, but we're gonna end up finding out. I'm hoping I can get it done. This is also 600 pages, which is a lot. It's a lot. So we'll see if I can get it done. Let's not put pressure on it. But hopefully I can knock it out because I just want to be done with it. Next 2 are actually going to be Christmas romances. I bought these in November. I'm really, really excited to read them. I'm on a Christmas romance mood right now, so it's no shock that these are on the TBR. The very first one is Blame It on the Mistletoe by Beth Gerard, or Garrod. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, but either way, I'm really interested in this. It has a social media aspect to it, whereas a lot of the ones that were on the Christmas romance table were like reality show competitions, which isn't really my thing. So yeah, I'm going to be reading this in this month. I don't know much about it just because all I really know is that they're going to swap houses. And you know what? That sounds fun to me. And I just want more Christmas romance because I can normally fly through these bad boys no problem. The next one is You're a Mean One, Matthew Prince by Timothy Janovsky. This is a male-male romance, which I'm excited about. The only male-male romance I've really read and enjoyed was Red, White, and Royal Blue. I did try to read one called Tripwrecked for an arc, but the writing style wasn't it. But this sounds really, really good. There's also a PR misstep in this. In case you couldn't tell, I'm kind of in the social media, loving of that element in romance right now. So I'm really excited to get to this. I like the title, the cover. It has all of the elements to be something that I'm super interested in. Fingers crossed that this is a win. Okay, so the next couple I'm going to talk about are arcs for December. These all have a December release date. The very first one is On the Line by Amanda Chapman. This is a hockey romance. If you didn't know, I'm in my hockey romance era again. Sports romance has become, again, a subgenre in romance that I'm fully obsessed with. You can all thank Icebreaker by Hannah Grace for this because I just vibing. So Amanda Chapman's book On the Line is following a professional hockey player, Mitch, and a headhunter, Lexi, who met in late October and sparks flew. And then they ended up breaking up. And then 2 years later, they end up being back in the same city. And it is going to end up being a second chance romance. This comes out on December 9th. I'm very excited to read it. I believe it is also... Wow, I wrote her name down as Amanda Chapman. Her name is Amanda Chaperon. Oops. Anyways, this is being self-published, I believe, and I'm very excited to get to it. I will be reading it right away in December because it comes out so early. So, you know, get ready for the resurfacing of my hockey romance phase. The next one is coming out on December 19th, and that is The Fall of Souls by R.A. Moreau. This is a Nubian gods fantasy romance, which, listen, it's going to be different because I haven't really done any reading of Egyptian gods with fantasy romance yet. So I'm very interested in it. I've already read a couple of the first pages. Actually, I read the entire first chapter and I'm quite loving it. I think it's going to be really good. This one is quite long also, so I do have to be prioritizing it to make sure that it gets done pretty fast since it does come out in the middle of December, right before Christmas. So hopefully I can get it done very, very fast. But this is one that I'm very excited about. It is being published by Pleasure and Power Publishing and it comes out on December 19th, like I already said. And I think I think this is going to be a quality fantasy romance. And then the last arc coming out in December will be coming out on December 27th, and this is The Valentine's Hate by Sidney Halston. This is an enemies to lovers fake engagement rom-com themed around Valentine's Day, so I'm getting into the mood of Valentine's Day way before Valentine's is even coming. This is being published by Avon and Harper Voyager. I'm very, 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 very excited because there's just something about the synopsis that makes me very just into it. So I'm just gonna read it to you because it okay. A delightful enemies to lovers fake engagement rom-com themed around Valentine's Day. Jennifer Lopez's new movie Marry Me meets Aaron Sterling's holiday themed The Ex-Hex. Cupid only strikes once. At least that's what Lisette Alonso believes. Ever since the most disastrous Valentine's Day of all time, she has hated all things V-Day. But Lizzie's best friend is having pre-nuptial festivities for a week leading up to her February 14th wedding, and Lisette is taking her maid of honor duties seriously. Maybe too seriously. Of course, who is the first person she runs into on the way to the wedding? None other than her childhood nemesis, Brian Anderson, the reason for all of her Valentine's Day hatred. Brian knows he messed up with Lizzie, but give him a break. He was just a kid who was trying to look cool, and Lizzie regularly pushed all of his buttons, both in school and out of it. He's always been gruff and grumpy, but these days Brian is much better off with his writing. Fictional characters never talk back. And unlike Lizzie, who always has something to say. Suddenly the two are back under the same roof and Ruth. Suddenly the two are back under the same roof and bickering like old times, except that Brian has bigger problems than dealing with Lizzie's verbal sparring. Someone Brian is desperate to avoid shows up, and somehow Lizzie gets roped into pretending to be dating him, and suddenly the simmering anger has blossomed into something extra spicy. Now listen, there's just something in there that I'm just like, sign me up. The next arc is for, the next two are for January releases, and they are both coming out on January 3rd. The first one is an anticipated release of mine, and that is Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. I screamed when I got approved for this arc on NetGalley. It blew my mind. This is coming out, as I said, January 3rd, and is being published by Random House for the Children's Association, because this is a YA romance. So this is going to be following Bradley and Celine, and I'm just so excited. I love a good YA contemporary. There is just something in it that just makes me so excited about them, and this is no exception. The cover is very cute, and I can't wait. And then the next one that is coming out on January 3rd is being published by Victory Editing. At least I think so. I'm not sure now. But anyways, this is a novella in the Movie Magic series by Dani, McLean. This is not my love story, and I'm very excited because the cover, that's a good cover. And additionally, this has a screenwriting element to it, which I think is very, very fun. Ever since I read A Merry Little Meet Cute, I've been looking for more movie production type romances, and this is going to be fitting into that genre for me. The next two books I'm going to be holding up are also anticipated releases. The first one is Heart of the Sun Warrior by Sue Lynn Tan. This is the sequel to Daughter of the Moon Goddess, which I thoroughly loved when I read it. I wasn't sure why there was going to be a second one, because I did like the ending of it, but now that it's here and I can look at this cover, I'm so stoked. I have the audiobook on hold from Libby, and it does say that I should be getting it within December, so I'm very hopeful that Libby provides me with the beauty that is this book. I cannot wait. It is also, this is a chonker, and I'm very excited for it because I just know that Miss Sue Lynn Tan is gonna do me right, okay? She really is. The next one that I'm holding up is the first book in this series, but the second one is coming out December 6th, and I do plan on reading it right away. I will be using an Audible credit for the audiobook. I'm going to be holding up a River Enchanted, but the book that I'm talking about is A Fire Endless by Rebecca Ross, which is the second book in the Elements of Cadence series. I'm so excited. This was one of my favorite books of the year. This was a 5-star book, and I cannot wait to get more of Jack and Adira. I was obsessed. I was very much so obsessed when I was listening to the audiobook, and I just kept going the whole time. So the sequel is coming out, and I'm so excited. I want to read it the instant I get it. As long as the arc for that week is done, I can start it right away. But it's just so exciting. I'm literally on Discord. I've been checking my Libby app so frequently that when the audiobook made it onto Libby, one of my friends on Discord, Day, told me that her library had it, so I immediately went to my Libby app to find it and put a hold on it right away, because I was like, I've been waiting for this, so I'm super excited to get to it. It has become an anticipated release because of how much I loved A River Enchanted. So hopefully I can read it. I feel like I'm just, really just putting everything out there this time around, because it's kind of wild how much I'm trying to read. I do have one final arc that I need to read, and it is a February release. This will be coming out on February 7th by Random House Publishing. This is Not the Plan by Gia de Cadenet. I hope I said that right. If I didn't, I'm very, 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 very sorry. This is a political romance, which makes me a little bit nervous, but also pretty excited because I loved that aspect of Red, White, and Royal Blue. So I'm really hoping that I get the same vibes from Not the Plan, even though this one is a heterosexual couple, and Red, White, and Royal Blue was a male romance. So fingers crossed on this. I'm really excited. The cover got me, y'all. I was like, okay, I get it. And then I saw the cover and I was like, And then I read the synopsis and I went, And then I requested it. And somehow Random House said yes. So here I am. I'm going to be reading it. So those are all the books that I'm hoping to read in December. Fingers crossed that I actually read them, because it would be great for me to have all of them finished. However, if I don't, that's okay. The main ones I need to read are the arcs, and then I want to for sure read my Christmas romances, because December is the time to read them. Besides, once it's no longer December, I don't want to read them because it won't be Christmas season anymore. So fingers crossed that I can get that done. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys are hoping to read in December, if you're excited for any of the books that I've talked about or to see my reactions to them. And if you guys like this video, if you guys like this content, make sure to subscribe. I don't currently have a posting schedule. We're working on getting one done, so stay tuned. The ideal is that there will be one by the start of the new year, but I will be testing it out in December. So hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload a new video. See what I did there? See what I did there? And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!